Have you ever stood in the middle of a room you've lived in for decades, surrounded by objects you no longer use, and felt a strange, heavy exhaustion that has nothing to do with your physical strength? It's as if the very air in the room is thick with the past, making it hard to take a deep, clear breath. We often think we are just keeping stuff, but what if those dusty boxes and crowded shelves are actually anchors holding your spirit back from the peace you deserve? Welcome to Buddha Essence Wisdom. I am truly grateful you are here with me today. Before we dive deeper into this journey of the heart, please subscribe to my channel to support me in bringing more of these teachings to life. Your presence here is a gift, and I am honored to share this path with you. Today, I want to talk to you about a burden that many of us over 60 carry without even realizing it, the burden of clutter. But I'm not just talking about the old newspapers in the garage or the clothes in the back of the closet that no longer fit. I'm talking about the invisible threads that tie your soul to these objects, the emotional and mental clutter that turns our homes into museums of what once was or what might have been. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine your mind and your home as a beautiful open garden. In a garden for new flowers to bloom, you must pull the weeds and clear the fallen, decaying leaves. If the ground is covered in debris, the sunlight cannot reach the soil. Our lives are exactly the same. When we hold on to everything, every old letter that brings a sting of regret, every gift from a person who no longer honors our peace, every broken item we might fix someday, we are telling the universe that our lives are already full. We are saying there is no room for anything new, no space for fresh joy, and no air for a new beginning. I remember a dear friend of mine here in California, a man named Robert. He was 72 and lived in a beautiful house, but he was constantly anxious and felt stuck. When I visited him, I saw why. His home was filled with his late wife's belongings, untouched for 15 years. There were stacks of old business files from a career he retired from a decade ago. He told me, "I feel like if I let these things go, I'm erasing my life." But I looked at him and said, "Robert, your memories live in your heart, not in these cardboard boxes. Right now, your house is a museum of the past, and you are acting as the weary security guard. When do you get to just live in the present?" In my years of counseling, I've seen that physical clutter is almost always a reflection of mental clutter. We keep things because we are afraid of the emptiness. We are afraid that if we clear the space, we will have to face the silence. But in the Buddhist tradition, we learn that emptiness is not nothingness. Emptiness is possibility. From a psychological perspective, studies often show that a cluttered environment increases cortisol, the stress hormone, especially as we age. It keeps our brains in a state of low-level fight or flight because we are constantly processing the visual chaos around us. By cleaning a drawer, you are literally calming your nervous system. You are sending a powerful message to your subconscious. I am in control of my peace. I am choosing what belongs in my life today. So I want to ask you, what are you holding on to out of habit rather than love? Is there a room in your house that makes you feel tired just by looking at it? I invite you to start small. This isn't about throwing away your precious history. It's about curating your life. Pick one drawer. As you go through it, ask yourself, does this support the person I am now at 60, 70, or 80? Or does it belong to a version of me that no longer exists? When you let go of the physical weight, you'll find that the mental fog begins to lift. You'll find you have more energy to meditate, more space to breathe, and a renewed sense of clarity. You're making room for the Great Spirit to move through your life again. You are clearing the path for new laughter, new hobbies, and a lighter way of being. Don't let your home be a museum of old pains. Let it be a sanctuary for your soul. You've carried these burdens long enough. It's okay to set them down now. It's okay to be free. After clearing the physical clutter from our outer world, we must find the courage to look within at those inner drawers of the soul that remain locked under the dust of the past. You know there is a burden far more crushing than a house full of objects. It is the weight of regret. I want you to pause for a moment. Place your hand over your heart and take a deep, slow breath. Is there a memory from 30 or 40 years ago that still makes your heart ache when it surfaces? Perhaps a mistaken career move, a harsh word spoken in anger to a loved one, or an opportunity you let slip through your fingers. Many people come to me at the meditation center and confess, "Master, I cannot find peace because I keep blaming myself for what I should have done differently." Have you ever felt that way? I want you to imagine this picture: a 5-year-old child who has just accidentally broken a precious vase. What would you do? Would you scream at them and punish that child for the rest of their life? Or would you pull them into a warm embrace and say, "It's all right, little one. You just didn't know how to hold it firmly yet. You'll do better next time"? Yet, it is a strange irony that we are often so compassionate toward others, but incredibly cruel to ourselves. We at 70, with our silver hair and newfound perspective, use today's wisdom to judge and punish the child of our 20s or 30s. That is an injustice, my dear friend. In both Buddhist philosophy and modern psychology, we understand that every human being acts based on their level of awareness at that specific moment. When you were 20, you acted out of inexperience, fear, or the oversized ego of youth. That wasn't a sin. It was a process of growth. You cannot expect someone who has never been taught to swim to jump into the water and be a master. I once spoke with a man named Paul in Houston. He had lived for 40 years in agony because he wasn't by his father's side when he passed away due to being busy with work. Paul told me, "I am a terrible son." I looked him in the eyes and asked, "If you had known then that it was the last time, would you have stayed?" He wept and said, "Of course I would." I told him, "Then you aren't a bad person. You were simply a person who could not see the future. It is time to let that young man from 40 years ago finally rest." You see, regret is like trying to drive a car forward while your eyes are glued to the rearview mirror. How can you appreciate the beauty of the sunset right in front of you if your mind is spinning with the ghosts of the past? Science has shown that self-rumination and guilt trigger chronic stress, which negatively impacts our immune system and heart health, especially as we age. Forgiveness isn't about making excuses for a mistake. It is about liberating the present. Don't let your remaining precious years become a courtroom where you are both the judge and the prisoner. Say to yourself, "The me of those years did the best they could with the little they knew. And the me of today, with this deeper wisdom, chooses to love and forgive that young person." When you truly forgive yourself, you will feel a miraculous energy flow through your body. The weight on your shoulders simply vanishes. You are no longer a captive of the past, but a free soul enjoying every precious breath. Are you ready to open that drawer of regret and let the light of compassion pour in? Once we have lightened the baggage of our past regrets, we find ourselves standing before the most intimate challenge of all, the mirror. Have you ever caught your reflection and felt a sharp, sudden pang of loss? Perhaps you saw a new line on your forehead, a softening of the jaw, or noticed that your hands, once so steady and strong, now bear the delicate paper-thin skin of time. I want to speak directly to that feeling today, the quiet, creeping fear of aging. In this modern world, especially here in the West, we are bombarded with messages telling us to fight aging, to defy time, as if the natural unfolding of our lives were a war to be won. But I want to ask you, how can we find peace if we are at war with our own skin? How can we be happy if we view the very vessel of our soul as a failing machine? I want you to imagine a different perspective. I want you to look at your wrinkles not as flaws, but as sacred prayer beads. Each line on your face is a story told. Each crease around your eyes is 1,000 laughs. You've shared 100 storms you've weathered and countless tears that have finally cleared your vision. You haven't just gotten old. You have accumulated life. You have become a living library of human experience. I once spent time with a woman named Sarah in a small town in Oregon. She was 82, and she told me she hated her hands because they reminded her of her grandmother's. She felt they were a sign of her disappearing. I took her hands in mine, hands that had raised 4 children, hands that had planted gardens and held the dying. And I said to her, "Sarah, these hands are not disappearing. They are revealing the truth of your strength. They are becoming more transparent so that the light within can finally shine through." In the Buddhist tradition, we often use the metaphor of a lamp. Your body is the lamp, and your physical vitality is the oil. It is an undeniable truth, an impermanence, as we call it, that the oil eventually runs low and the flame of the body may flicker. But here is the secret the world forgets. The light that the lamp produces, that light is your wisdom. That light is your spirit. And that light does not depend on how much oil is left in the jar. In fact, often as the oil burns low, the light becomes more focused, more golden, and more beautiful. Have you ever noticed how a young person's energy is like a wildfire? Bright, loud, and jumping in every direction, but the wisdom of someone over 70. That is like the steady glow of a hearth fire. It doesn't need to jump or shout to be felt. It simply warms everyone who sits near it. Science even suggests that as we age, our brains often become better at pattern recognition. We see the big picture more clearly than we did at 30. We are less likely to be rocked by small dramas because we've seen the seasons change enough times to know that spring always follows winter. This is the positivity effect in aging, a natural shift toward emotional balance. So why do we fear this? We fear it because we confuse our value with our utility. We think that because we might move slower, we are worth less. But I want to remind you, a mountain is most majestic, not at its base, but at its peak. The air is thinner there, the climb is harder, but the view is unparalleled. You are standing at the peak of your life. I want to ask you, what would happen if you stopped trying to fix the lamp and started enjoying the light? What if you looked at your aging body with the same tenderness you would look at an ancient, majestic oak tree? You wouldn't look at an old oak and say, "It has too many knots and the bark is too rough." You would stand in awe of its endurance. You would lean against it for support. When we accept the anicca, the impermanence of our physical selves, we stop being victims of time. We become masters of the moment. We realize that while the body is changing, the eye that observes the change remains eternal and peaceful. So the next time you see a new wrinkle or feel a new ache, I want you to smile at it. Treat it as a badge of honor. You have survived a world that is not always kind. You have stayed long enough to become wise. You have transitioned from doing to being, and that, my friend, is the highest form of human existence. Can you feel the lightness that comes when you stop running away from yourself? Can you imagine the freedom of finally being comfortable in the skin you are in, exactly as it is today? After we have made peace with the mirror and the passage of time, we arrive at a threshold that is perhaps the most difficult to cross. It is the quiet realization that the people we love most, our children, our partners, our lifelong friends, cannot carry the burden of our happiness. Have you ever spent an entire afternoon sitting by the window checking your phone every few minutes, waiting for a call that doesn't come? Or perhaps you've felt a sharp pang of resentment when your children seem too busy with their own lives to notice your loneliness. It is a heavy, hollow ache, isn't it? It feels like you are a thirsty traveler standing at a well, waiting for someone else to draw the water for you. I want to talk to you about the key to the house of joy. For many of us, we spent our 30s, 40s, and 50s giving our keys away. We gave one to our spouse saying, "Make me feel loved." We gave one to our children saying, "Make me feel proud and purposeful." We gave them to our careers, our neighbors, and our community. But now, in this sacred chapter of your 70s, it is time to take those keys back. I want you to imagine this. Your happiness is like a beautiful private garden. For years, you've been standing at the gate waiting for your children or your friends to come and plant the flowers, pull the weeds, and bring the water. But they have their own gardens to tend. They are battling their own droughts and celebrating their own harvests. when we expect them to be the sole source of our joy. We aren't just hurting ourselves, we are placing a heavy weight of guilt on the people we love. I remember a woman named Evelyn who came to see me in Vermont. She was 75 and deeply bitter because her son only visited once a month. She said, "I sacrificed everything for him and now he leaves me in this quiet house. He is the only thing that makes me happy, and he isn't here." I looked at her and asked gently, "Evelyn, if you were your son, would you enjoy visiting a home where you were the only source of oxygen? Or would you prefer to visit a mother who has her own light, her own interests, and her own peace?" It was a hard truth, but it changed her life. She realized that by making her son responsible for her happiness, she had turned him into a job rather than a relationship. In Buddhist philosophy, we talk about self-refuge. The Buddha's final words were, "Be a lamp unto yourselves." This doesn't mean we should be alone or stop loving others. It means that the foundation of our well-being must be internal. When you rely on others for your happiness, you are a hostage to their schedule, their moods, and their limitations. But when you find joy within yourself, in the taste of your morning tea, in the rhythm of your breath, in the pages of a good book, you become truly free. Psychologically, this is what we call internal locus of control. As we age, our social circles naturally shift. Friends pass away, children move, and roles change. If your happiness is tied to these external factors, your peace will always be fragile. But if you cultivate an inner world that is rich and self-sustaining, you become unshakable. I want to ask you, what have you been waiting for someone else to give you? Is it permission to be happy? Is it a sense of being needed? Take a moment to feel the pocket of your own heart. The key is there. It has always been there. You don't need your daughter to call to have a beautiful morning. You don't need your friends to invite you out to feel the warmth of the sun on your face. When you stop expecting others to fill your cup, a miracle happens. You stop being a person who needs and start being a person who overflows. Suddenly, when your children do call, it's not a relief of your loneliness. It's a beautiful bonus to an already peaceful day. You move from a state of begging for love to sharing love. I want you to imagine the freedom of never being disappointed again, because you have realized that your joy is your own sacred responsibility. You are the gardener of your soul. You are the one who decides to bloom whether the world is watching or not. Can you feel that shift? Can you feel the power of taking your key back and realizing that you have everything you need right here in this very breath? After we have taken back the key to our own happiness, we often find ourselves looking at the people who hold a place in our lives. We start to see things with a clarity that only decades of living can provide. And sometimes that clarity reveals a painful truth. Not everyone who has walked with us this far is meant to walk with us to the end. Have you ever felt a wave of dread or exhaustion just by seeing a certain name pop up on your phone? Or perhaps you've spent an evening with an old friend or a family member only to return home feeling hollowed out, criticized, or emotionally bruised. We often tell ourselves, "But I've known them for 40 years," or "But they are family, I have to endure it." I want to speak to you about the sanctity of your time. At 70, 80, or 90, your hours are no longer just minutes on a clock, they are drops of liquid gold. Every moment you spend defending yourself against someone's negativity or absorbing their toxicity is a moment stolen from your peace. I want you to imagine a majestic bamboo tree. In the forest, the bamboo grows tall and strong because it knows how to shed. When a branch becomes dry, brittle, or diseased, it doesn't cling to the tree forever. It eventually detaches and falls gently to the forest floor. The bamboo doesn't mourn the branch. It doesn't feel guilty for letting it go. It sheds that weight so the rest of the tree can stay green, vibrant, and reach toward the sun. You are that bamboo tree. I once knew a man named Arthur in a retirement community in Arizona. He was 78 and had a lifelong friend who did nothing but complain and mock Arthur's new interest in meditation. Every time they met, Arthur left feeling smaller and more discouraged. He told me, "I feel guilty even thinking about seeing him less." We go back to high school. I asked him, "Arthur, if you had a garden, would you keep a plant that poured poison into the soil of all your other flowers just because you planted it a long time ago?" He went silent. He realized that loyalty to a memory is not a reason to tolerate harm in the present. In the Buddha's teachings, we are reminded of the importance of the Sangha, a community of like-minded, virtuous friends. The Buddha once said that admirable friendship is not just half of the holy life, but the whole of it. If a relationship does not nourish your spirit, if it constantly erodes your light like water against soft stone, it is no longer a friendship. It is a burden. Many of us over 60 carry a deep sense of duty. We were raised to keep the peace and be the bigger person. But there is a difference between being the bigger person and being a doormat. Letting go of a toxic relationship isn't an act of anger or a declaration of war. It is an act of self-respect. It is saying, "I love you, but I love my peace more." Psychologically, our social battery changes as we age. We no longer have the surplus energy to manage other people's drama or navigate their manipulations. Stress hormones like cortisol are harder on our bodies now. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who brings chronic stress is quite literally a health decision. So I want you to ask yourself, who in your life makes you feel like you can breathe easier? And who makes you feel like you have to hold your breath? You don't need to have a grand confrontation. You don't need to explain yourself until you're blue in the face. You can simply quietly and gently stop watering that connection. You can choose not to answer every call. You can choose to say no to that draining lunch date. Like that dry bamboo branch, let the connection fall away naturally, so your own spirit can remain green. You've earned the right to a circle that honors you. You have earned the right to surround yourself with people who see your light and add to it rather than trying to blow it out. Can you imagine how much lighter your heart would feel if you stopped trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed? What would your life look like if every person in your inner circle was a source of warmth and growth? After learning to protect our social circle, we must face an even more subtle inner weight, the habit of clenching our fists around the world, trying to make it stay exactly as we want it to be. This is the weight of control. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, worrying about the choices your adult children are making? Or perhaps you feel a surge of frustration when the world doesn't move at your pace, when technology feels too fast, or when people don't follow the correct way of doing things your way. It's a tight, restless feeling in the chest, as if you're trying to hold back the tide with your bare hands. I want to speak to you about the profound freedom found in letting go of the need to be right and the desire to control everything. I want you to imagine this. You are sitting by a river. For most of your life, you've been trying to build dams, redirect the flow, and tell the water which way it should run. You thought that if you just worked hard enough, you could keep everyone safe and everything in order. But the river is life itself. It is the choices of your grandchildren, the changing seasons, and the unpredictable nature of the world. By trying to control the flow, you aren't stopping the river, you're only exhausting yourself. What if instead of being the engineer of the river, you became the person sitting on the bank? I remember a woman named Martha who lived in a quiet neighborhood in Seattle. She was 74 and was constantly at odds with her daughter-in-law about how to raise the kids. Martha was convinced she was right. After all, she had decades of experience. But this rightness had become a wall between her and her family. She was lonely, but she wouldn't budge. I asked her, "Martha, would you rather be right, or would you rather be at peace and have a relationship with your grandchildren?" She realized that her need for control was actually a mask for her fear. Fear that she was becoming irrelevant. Once she let go of the need to be the authority, she found she could just be the grandmother. She stopped giving unsolicited advice, and suddenly her family started coming to her for wisdom. In Zen, we often talk about non-attachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clutching. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from our resistance to how things actually are. When we insist that the world should be different, we create a friction that burns our own hearts. As a Buddhist practitioner, I've seen that the most respected elders are not the ones who demand order, but the ones who possess a spacious heart. They are like the sky. The clouds of life's chaos pass through them, but the sky remains blue and undisturbed. Scientifically, as we age, letting go of control is a key factor in what psychologists call successful aging. Those who can adapt to change and accept things they cannot influence have significantly lower rates of depression and anxiety. When you stop trying to fix everyone else, your brain finally gets the signal that it's okay to rest. So I want to ask you, what are you holding on to so tightly that it's making your hands ache? Is it a right way of living? Is it a hope that someone will change their mind? Try this for a moment. Open your hands. Palms facing up. Imagine everything you are worried about: your family's future, the state of the world, the neighbor's messy yard sitting right there in your palms. Now imagine yourself saying, "I offer you my love, but I release my control." When you give up the need to be the manager of the universe, you gain something far more valuable: the ability to be a witness to the beauty of life. You start to see that the world can be messy and wrong in many ways, and yet it can still be okay. You find that you don't need to win every argument to be respected. In fact, there is a quiet power in saying, "I see things differently, but that's okay. Let's just enjoy this tea." Can you feel the tension leaving your shoulders? Can you imagine the joy of just letting the world be what it is while you remain centered in your own peace? After we have loosened our grip on controlling the world, a beautiful space opens up. Yet in that space, we often hear a dangerous whisper: "I'm old now, there's nothing left for me to learn. I should just sit here and wait for the end." Have you ever felt that way? When you see young people obsessed with new technologies or fresh ideas, do you suddenly feel like a bystander watching the current flow past, telling yourself that the door of understanding closed for you long ago? I want to share a secret with you. A heart only truly grows old when it stops being curious. I want you to imagine this. Our mind is like a river. If the water does not flow, it becomes stagnant and dull. But if you keep the water moving, even just a tiny ripple, that river stays fresh and full of life. Learning at 70 isn't about earning degrees or proving yourself to anyone. It is about keeping the river of your soul vibrant. In the Buddhist tradition, there's a story about the disciple Ananda. Even at the age of 80, having spent his life by the Buddha's side, he began every day with the humility of a complete beginner. When asked why, he smiled and said, "Because this world is infinite. What I know is but a handful of leaves in my hand. What I have yet to learn is the entire forest outside." I will never forget a friend named Eleanor in Oregon. At 76, after her husband passed, she started learning Mandarin. I asked her, "Eleanor, are you learning this to travel?" She laughed and replied, "No, I'm learning just to see how far my brain can still stretch. And you know what? It's still reaching." Her eyes sparkled like a child's in that moment. That curiosity made her look more youthful than any skin cream ever could. From a scientific perspective, learning a new skill in our later years creates new neural connections, what we call neuroplasticity. It literally keeps the brain from aging, but more importantly, from a spiritual perspective, learning helps us break down the fixed self. When you accept that you are still a student of life, the world becomes a place of wonder again. Don't let the numbers on your birth certificate trick you into thinking you've seen it all. Try picking up a paintbrush, learn how to care for a new species of plant, or simply dive into a philosophy you've never explored. Ask yourself questions like, why does this flower bloom at this hour? Or what makes my neighbor smile? I want to ask you, is there something you desperately wanted to do when you were young but set aside because you were too busy? Now is your time. Do not fear being slow. In the race of the soul, there is no finish line. There is only the journey. When you open your heart to learn, you are telling the universe, I'm still here and I'm still growing. Look at the lotus. It rises from the mud, not to become something else, but so that each petal can unfold under the sun. You are the same. Let every day be a new petal of wisdom opening up. Can you feel that gentle spark of excitement when you think about starting something new? We have journeyed together through the awakening of curiosity. But right now, another demon might be whispering in your ear. But it's just too late. I'm already 70 and 80 years old. What's the point of starting anything now? Have you heard that voice before? It's the one that makes you surrender, the one that makes you abandon those tiny sparks of inspiration before they can catch fire. I want to tell you something vital. That is the most poisonous lie we have ever been told. I want you to imagine this. A lotus flower does not bloom in the early dawn of youth. It blooms exactly when it is ripe after it has pushed through the thick, heavy mud of time. A mountain is not most sacred at its base, but at its peak where the air is thinnest, but the view is vast and infinite. Your life is the same. This is not the time for the end. It is the time for the becoming. In the Buddhist path, we believe that every single breath is a rebirth. The Buddha taught, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. It doesn't matter what you missed in your 40s or what you lost in your 50s. What matters is that right now, your heart is beating and your lungs are breathing, which means your story is not yet finished. I want to tell you about a woman named Ruth. At the age of 91, she picked up a paintbrush for the very first time. Not because she wanted to be a famous artist, but simply because she felt moved by the colors in her neighbor's garden. She told me, "Painting makes me feel like I'm truly living, not just existing." Within 2 years, her vibrant paintings filled the rooms that used to hold nothing but silence and loneliness. Or consider Jerome, 86 years old, a widower who felt constant exhaustion. One day, while watching children dance in the park, he whispered to himself, "I used to love to move." So he started taking Tai Chi. His hands still trembled, but his feet became steady, and most importantly, his spirit began to dance again. You see, the world doesn't need you to be fast like you were at 20. The world needs the depth, the stillness, and the light of your experience. If your soul still stirs at the thought of something new, that is your spirit knocking on the door and asking, why not now? From a professional perspective, maintaining a sense of purpose in old age is the most powerful medicine for longevity and mental clarity. Those who believe that there is still time consistently possess a more vibrant life force than those who believe it's too late. So I want to ask you sincerely, is there a dream you buried long ago because you thought time had run out? A book unwritten, an apology unsent, or a simple hobby you've always craved? Stop asking, "Am I too late?" and start asking, "How shall I begin?" Because now this very moment is the perfect time. The bell of awakening can ring at any second, even on the last day of a life. When you let go of the lie that it's too late, you will see that each passing day is not a step closer to the end, but a step deeper into freedom. Can you feel that new energy sparking within you? Let that faith lead the way. So here we are. You have walked with me through the stillness of letting go. Together, we have cleared the physical and emotional clutter that once blocked the light. We have released the exhausting need to control the river of life, the heavy burden of past regrets, and the draining expectations of others. We have replaced the fear of aging with the grace of wisdom, and we have finally destroyed that stubborn, poisonous lie that says it is too late. Now take a moment to notice how you feel. Do your hands feel just a little lighter? Does your chest feel a bit more spacious? That is the feeling of freedom. It is not because we have fixed every problem in the world, but because we have remembered who you truly are. Aging is not the slow fading of your story. It is the unfolding of its most profound chapter. A chapter that only you, with your decades of courage and experience, are wise enough to write. You are not falling behind. You are standing exactly where life and wisdom have led you. You are not finished. You are becoming. You are becoming softer, clearer, and more authentic than you have ever been. So I invite you to take one more deep, nourishing breath. Place your hand on your heart and gently whisper to yourself, I allow myself to let go. I deserve peace. My journey is beautiful exactly as it is. If even one part of this message touched a place within you, I invite you to write a single word in the comments below. Free. That word is not for me, and it is not for the algorithm. It is for you. It is your quiet declaration to the universe that you are ready to walk lightly. It is your soft beginning. If you found value in our time together, you can watch the videos I've made on this channel to continue nourishing your soul. And please subscribe to join our community. This is a sanctuary where aging is honored, where your presence is always enough, and where we remember together that the light within never truly dims. Until we meet again, may you walk lightly, may you love deeply, and may you rest in the quiet, certain knowledge that your journey is far from over. It is in fact just beginning. Peace be with you.